Back on Sports Bit, Pauly and Teddy, deep dive, a lot of NFL news. Let's start in Cleveland, where teams are calling about Josh Gordon. Should the Browns listen, Teddy?
Absolutely not. All right, you look at Cleveland, all right, and you say last year this team didn't have a lick of skill position talent. Then all of a sudden you start thinking, with Josh Gordon, well, let's see, you got a 4-3 guy in Josh Gordon. You got a 4-3 guy in Terrell Pryor. So far in the preseason, 3 nets for 107 yards and a touchdown on 3 catches in limited time with RG3. You got the rookie Clement, or Coleman, I should say, who's got also 4-3 speed.
Kid for Baylor.
Now you
yep.
got 3 guys who can run verticals and really give defenses trouble. So we also talked a little bit about Josh Gordon, the relationship that he has with some of the guys in Cleveland, most notably RG3. They were Baylor teammates. Gordon's a guy who's had all kinds of issues when it comes to staying on the field and avoiding problems at the NFL level. Having a guy like RG3 there for him to help him and guide him makes perfect sense for Cleveland. And why on earth would they want to trade him for pennies on the dollar right now? It makes no sense.
Well, yeah, I don't know what a team's going to give up, considering he had that great season when he had 1,600 yards in 14 games. But the guy has missed 27 of the last 32 games played because of the off-the-field issues, and he's suspended the first 4 games of this season. So I don't even know what they could even offer. So the Browns shouldn't even listen. But here's a good quote from Gordon. Cleveland's my team. That's where I want to be. That's not even in the ballpark for me. I'm not sure how that works. I think it works out perfectly then for me, Mr. Haslam, the organization, Coach Jackson. I think the world of these guys, the city and the organization, their family, they're showing me the love and respect back to me by allowing me to stay here up to this point. And he's right about that. I mean, most teams would have said, get out. You can't keep it together. Come on.
But at the same time, there's no point in trading a potential star for pennies on the dollar. And of all the quotes, this is the one that really stood out to me. This is from the cornerback, the Pro Bowl cornerback, Joe Hayden, after facing Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman and Terrell Pryor in practice. Quote, "That's a really, really solid receiving core. You know, each one of them running under 4-3 can take you vertical. Those are really, really good deep threats. Teams don't have 2 players like that, and we have 3 of them. So just being able to challenge people vertically, not being able to put an extra safety in the box because you need to have 2 safeties deep to make sure that corners don't get beat. I think that just stretches it out the field for us in ways that we haven't had before. No, the Browns should not trade Josh Gordon. They already lost all their veterans from last year. All of a sudden, you know, there are a few, let's call it green shoots in Cleveland. There are some positive signs, and we've been hearing some positive reports from Hugh Jackson and his staff about how at least this offense is looking. The defense still got a whole bunch of issues, but the offense at least is looking solid in camp.
All right, this deserves some attention. We should focus on this for most of this segment. Aguayo struggled in practice again. Now, he went in a joint practice today with the Browns. He went 3 of 6 on field goal attempts. He missed a 35-yard field goal. One of them he kicked right into the line. His own fans were booing him. And it's up, like Dirk Cutter said, it's upstairs messing with him mental. No kidding. I mean, this guy, he never missed a field goal under 40 yards in college. He missed an extra point week 1. He missed a 32 and a 48-yard field goal last week. And now he goes out and stinks in practice. They gave up picks to move up to take him in the second round. The GM's got to be going bananas here.
Now, let's start with this. Here, 198 for 198 on extra points in college. He missed 9 field goals in 3 years. Okay. So if you have a kicker who's struggling, where do you want him to struggle, Pauly? Kickers go through slumps. They all do it at various times in their careers. Where do you want to go through a slump? Do you want to go through a slump once the regular season starts? Or how about in practice and here in the preseason? Who cares? You keep ripping the organization for drafting a kicker. And again, I was in Detroit when they drafted Jason Hansen. All right, they drafted him early. And Jason Hansen went on to be a kicker for 19 years in Detroit. And I don't know if he's going to go to the Hall of Fame or not. But when you have that level of competentness at the kicker position, when you say, this is my guy. Remember Janikowski for Oakland. He was the last kicker that went fairly high. He's had a real good career. And he hasn't been making every field goal. There have been times where he's slumped too. But if you see your guy, you say, I want this guy long term. I want to lock up this position. I don't want to have those struggles. Say, all right, Aguayo, he's at a bad camp. He's had a bad preseason. That doesn't mean he's a bad kicker. That doesn't mean that the team that drafted him made a miserable move to do
No,
it.
I don't think that either. But my God, they're running into some bad luck here. Here's what I don't like. After the first game, he said he was nervous and he had butterflies. It's the goddamn preseason. What's going to happen when you got to make a 49-yard field goal in week 7?
He'll nail it by week 7.
How can you be so sure he's got the yips? This could be Steve Sachs all over again. It's all upstairs.
We'll have to agree to disagree on this one, Paul.
All right. Good and
that's
bad.
the bottom line for me. I'm buying Aguayo. Right now, I'm buying Aguayo.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. It's your money. Do what you want. But the fans booing him doesn't help matters either. The guy's getting booed in practice, for God's sakes, by his own fans.
It's like with anyone else on special teams. The last thing you want to do is anyone to notice you. Kick your field goals, make your field goals. You don't want you're better off not knowing the punter's name. You don't want to know the long snapper's name. It's only when you're making mistakes that anyone knows who you are.
All right, good and bad news for the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott's back. He'll play against Seattle. Des Bryant's out with a concussion Thursday.
Yeah, and Bryant, with touchdowns in each of the first 2 games for the Cowboys. I was having a discussion with a person that I talk to every week when it comes to preseason football. Like, Des Bryant is not worth that much. He kind of is when it comes to this weekend's matchup in Seattle.
What's going on with the Patriots? Another injury.
Yeah. I mean, defensive end Jabal Shurd has been dealing with sprained MCL. They're talking about 2 to 4 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 in a worst case scenario. But, we're talking about a guy who was 3rd in their defensive end rotation last year. But they traded Chandler Jones in the offseason. He's expected to be their best pass rusher. He might not be ready for week number 1. And meanwhile, Pauly, the Bills got Sammy Watkins back. He's expected to play against the Redskins this weekend following offseason foot surgery. Pauly, that Bills defense looked awful good the first 2 weeks of the preseason. Tyrod Taylor, the single most underrated quarterback in the NFL last year. The Pats are all banged up already. Is there any way that you see the Bills beating the Pats and ending New England's reign of domination in the division? Any way?
I'm not even going to respond to that. They shut down Nassib and Logan Thomas? Please. Not to mention, Darius is suspended. Lawson's out. They got Ragland out. No way. No way, no how.
Jets then? Is there anyone in that division that's capable of hanging with New England? So the Patriots can continue to suffer injuries day, every day, and it's no big deal?
They still win 10. They'll find a way to win 10 or 11, just like every damn year. They won 11 when they lost Brady. The hoodie will make it happen.
The Matt Cass on that's the one thing that I always think back to New England is they won 11 games with Matt Castle at quarterback. And if you watch Matt Castle play anywhere else at any point in the rest of his NFL career, you say, how the hell did this team possibly win 11? Any team possibly win 11 games?
Yeah. Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
So we're giving you picks every day, and you're probably making your own as well. Be sure to participate in SBR's weekly Twitter Bankroll Challenge. Just post your picks on Twitter with @SBRSportsPicks and the hashtag BetSBR before 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. We'll be betting your picks, and if the bankroll is positive at the end of the week, you could win the profits. Picks must be of events taking place that day and available in at least one of the major sportsbooks shown in our Best Sportsbooks page.